Okay, good afternoon. Hopefully, where's my microphone? There it is. Good afternoon. Hopefully, you're doing well. Hopefully, I am coming through okay. Just checking the sound bars. Yeah, everything's looking good. Right. Who we got in the house today? We've got a boy in from Nigeria. Good afternoon, Pip Purdy, Pin the Market. Good afternoon to you as well. Elvis is in the house, possibly. Good afternoon, Nelson. Peter, hello to you. Ems, good afternoon. Shamari Maurice, hello to you. Heliga, hello to you. Gosh, just watching Trump and Prime Minister Starmer here at Turnberry having a bit of a rant, as they always do, or as he always does. There you are. Right, welcome to this weekly live stream. Welcome to those that have joined for the first time. You're more than welcome. We are basically doing this pretty much every Monday now, at start of the trading week. Your chance to sort of basically interact with me, maybe get a bit of an update to what we can expect in terms of the trading for the week ahead, any opportunities that might be arising. It's a really busy week this week. It is your first week, so you've joined at a good time. Really busy week. We'll go through that in a moment. What we'll do, we'll basically go through the economic calendar, just basically outlining the key market movers, what we're likely to expect. Then we'll jump on to the charts and have a look at some potential trading opportunities. You know, I'm a firm believer of this what I call roadblock resistance or roadblock support, big key levels on the higher time frame charts, which you can use for trend following and indeed for reversals as well. So we're going to go through some charts, looking at some key levels of these roadblocks that I think is worthwhile. Maybe some of you taking down. I always encourage people to do this actually at the beginning of the week, preferably on a Sunday when the markets are closed, so there's no sort of bias. But there you are. Yeah, massive news this week, Nelson. Absolutely right. But before we get in to that, I can tell you that we're also running a weekly competition now, and that competition is basically guess the gold. Okay, so here we go. It's gone through that. So basically, guess the price of gold for the end of the week. We're giving away a $12,500 experienced trader evaluation, absolutely free, and you've got to guess the price of gold, where it will close Friday. This time it's Friday, the 1st of August. At 5:59 Eastern Daylight Time Zone. So basically, that is about, if you're in the UK, that's 11 o'clock our time in the UK. So we'll look at gold now just briefly. I mean, we're looking at the feed that we're taking it off. Obviously, the feeds are always slightly different. The feed we're taking it off will be, it happens to be the first one when you type in XAU USD. It happens to be Rwanda. It doesn't matter where it is. We're not affiliated in any way to any of the brokers, but we're taking the feed from Rwanda because it's really tight and everyone gets it. More than one person gets it bang on. We take the feed from Rwanda. So this is basically where we are on gold at the moment, trading around 3337. What you need to do, we've just dropped in a Glean link. We'll be streaming Thursday for NFP if you don't want to miss it. I don't think we'll be streaming Thursday. I think we'll be streaming Friday for NFP. We're streaming Friday NFP this week. So there's a Glean form that's going to be dropped in the chat in a moment, and that will basically be where you submit your entries. Okay, you've basically got until about 45 minutes past the hour today. I'll close that down, but get it in there. We'll put the form out in a moment, and then you will be good to enter. So I'm just waiting for that form to come up. Maybe there's a slight delay. So at the moment we're trading at 3337. what do I think? What do I think about where gold will be by the end of the week? Remember, before I go into that, I've got to give you my disclaimer. Remember, this is not intended at all as investment advice. Okay, you've got to do your own analysis. This is purely meant for entertainment, if you can call it that, and education as well, if you can call it that. So basically, do not trade on the back of what I say at all in this stream. You need to have your own strategy, or certainly a strategy that you are following, and only trade naturally when your strategy rules align, not just on the back of me saying something. You're all grown-ups, hopefully, here in the room today. So don't trade just because I have said something. So what do I think about gold? Well, what's happening at the moment in the markets, I don't know if anyone's aware of it, but what's happening at the moment, hang on a sec, just bear with me a sec. Okay, so I've just asked them to drop the link in for us. So what I think, well, what's happening at the moment, if you're following the markets at all, is that the dollar, because of the dollar basically is having a big move today to the upside across all currency pairs. You can see here the dollar on the momentum meter, which should be, where's the dollar? It's moved out. Let me just put it on here. If you haven't got this indicator, you can go to indicators, type in the momentum meter, and you'll see it there. Momentum meter for top 8 currencies. Just chuck it in there, and you'll see it there. So basically, what this is showing me is the strength of currencies related to each other. The dollar at the moment is this green line. So pretty much since last week, we saw a big move higher in the price of dollar, on the back of, I think, the impending trade deals that we're doing, or we're seeing being done around the world. Now, over the weekend or this morning, it was announced that the EU, the European Union, are going to be dumped with a 15% tariff. So 15% tariff is a lot better than what they were looking at sort of maybe a few months ago, when we had that Liberation Day. I think they're up there at 30% on some things and 50% on others as well. So basically, we're seeing a reversal, and that basically all these tariffs have really impacted the dollar. Right, the dollar is down about 15% since the beginning of this year. Dollar's been on a massive, steady decline, pretty much because of the tariff policy that the US government are undertaking. Now that we're seeing these deals gone, and the second biggest trading partner for the US, of course, is the Eurozone. Now we're seeing that deal done. Uncertainty has basically been slightly eroded away. There's more certainty there now. It's done, signed, sealed, and delivered. Of course, it can always change, but it's done. So there is going to be an unwind of where the dollar is going. So the dollar at the moment is rallying higher. So how does that affect the price of gold? I think it affects it to the downside, and I think that's what's happening at the moment. Gold rolled off this really big, strong, what I call roadblock resistance. We saw a big move from there. You had this bearish engulfing pattern at that level. For any of you that have been following me for the years, sorry, excuse me a sec. Okay. So basically, if anyone that's following me for the years will be aware of the naked trading strategy that I teach. Well, this is a classic naked trading strategy entry. When you see this pattern at the level of resistance, a strong level of resistance, it indicates potential big reversal. And I think you're going to see that happen in gold this week. I'm looking at gold, certainly. I'm going to stick my neck out and say gold's going to kick down to possibly this support zone. So I'm saying, for me, my bias for gold for the end of the week. Remember, it's quite a quiet day, actually, considering all the news we got out this week. But quite a quiet day in terms of price action, apart from the dollar, but for gold, it's a quite day. I wouldn't be surprised to see gold get down to 3270. So I'm going to call 3280 as my level for this week for gold, of course. Who knows what? I'm not trading that, by the way. I haven't got a trade on the back of that. Let's have a look. I'm going to put it in here now. 3280. Okay, so 3280 is my call for gold for the end of the week. And I understand now that we're seeing some entries coming in as well. I don't get to see these, but I'll get to see them later. 3280 for me. Right, as I said, we've got a really, really busy week lined up on the fundamental picture. And I always say that even if you're not trading, the fundamentals, it's important that you understand, I think, what's driving these markets. Okay. I often say that the best strategies are the ones that align with the fundamentals as well. If you're just trading technicals, well, then that's fine. You're just trading the technicals. But if the technicals align with the fundamentals, that's what I would call potentially even a stronger setup, a grade A setup. So it's important, I think, to know what is coming out. So what are the main drivers of last week? We'll talk about those first and quickly what was moving. Basically, it was the European Central Bank. They left their interest rates unchanged, but basically indicated that it was what I would call a dovish ECB. That basically meant that rates are unchanged for the first time. It's the first of 8 meetings that they've left the rates unchanged, if I'm not mistaken. But they indicated, obviously, more rate cuts to come down the line. So the euro, again, under slight pressure because of the sort of negative or dovish bias from the ECB, from Lagarde. So the eurozone, or euro currency, eurozone, was under a little bit of pressure. And of course, we had the tariffs, which I've spoken about. Tariffs was being the main sort of driver as of last week. The main movers last week, I mean, there's some big moves going on in the stock markets. It was what I would call a risk-on week. Risk-on basically means when money is going into higher risk assets. If you're uncertain about the future, you put your money under your pillow. If you're confident about the future, you're confident about economies growing, then you put your money in the stock markets. And last week, the stock markets across the board really were pretty well bid. The S&P 500 was up 1.6%. NASDAQ was up 1.2%. The FTSE was up almost 2%. The DAX, that's the German stock market. German stock market was up 2%. So all the money at the moment is flowing into risk assets, and they've kicked off this week as well with the exact same tone. And I think that is basically going to be the continuation for all this week. So for me, buying risk assets is most probably, the way to go for this week. But again, you've got to trade your strategies and trade your pullbacks and whatever your strategy rules are. But certainly this week is looking like a risk-on week where stocks are going to do well. The WTI didn't move much, down 2%. Normally, when you have risk on, oil and energy does tend to do better. Obviously, there's a massive oversupply of oil at the moment. I know oil was down 2%, not really in line with the risk on theme, but no, there you go. And the dollar was pretty much lower by 0.8% before all this was agreed over the weekend. So dollar again down. So it might be turning. So that's basically the drivers of last week. Now, this week is a very big week in terms of central bank rate decisions. So we'll have a quick look at that now. I'll look at the pound CAD. What's my analysis? If you want me to have a look at anything in particular, then please do let me know, and we'll see if we can have a little look at it as well. So drop it down there in the chat. JOLTS numbers are out tomorrow. No numbers out today, really. Quite a quiet day. JOLT numbers are out tomorrow. JOLTS are basically job openings in the US. It's normally a bit of an indication. It always precedes non-farm payroll. I've always used to love watching JOLTS because it gave us a clue on where the job numbers are looking. The sort of the job market. Basically, new jobs openings. But one thing I'd note here, I mean, it's such a big number. But one thing I do note here is that it's in that direction. It's been in that direction now for a while. So the job market is under a little bit of pressure in the States. which is why Trump is calling for rate cuts, and Powell is sitting on his hands not doing it at the moment. Excuse me. So we've got jobs heading in that direction. So keep an eye on that tomorrow. If it comes in much lower than this, if it comes in around 7.3 or something like that, or 7.2, then again, that's going to be pressure on the market, and you might see the dollar come lower again, of course, with impending rate cuts. So Wednesday, we've got the beginning of the week in terms of the rate decisions. First off, we've got consumer price index in the US. That's basically inflation. It's a really busy week, as I say, because we've got 2 inflation numbers out this week. But the CPI, that's what most developed economies look at, 2.1%. That's, remember, their target. 2% is their target. So inflation is at target now, although it's not the main measure that the Fed use in determining their interest rates. They tend to look at the PCE, which is out later on in the week. Which is out later on in the week. But there you go. There we've got CPI coming in at 2.1% expected. So the first rate decision is on Wednesday. It's the Bank of Canada. They are deciding on their interest rates. Their interest rates are now at 2.75, and there's no change expected in that. Of course, if they do decide to cut, then you might see the loonie under a little bit of pressure. The loonie at the moment today, the Canadian dollar, is benefiting from the tariffs and the trading stronger. So that might continue unless they make a surprise cut in interest rates, which is very, very unlikely. Canadian dollar, one of the stronger currencies, start this week off. So we'll pay attention to that. Then, of course, you've got the FOMC. Their interest rates expected to be unchanged at 4.5%. You know that one of the things I like to look at is this Fed Watch tool. It basically tells you what the futures market is expecting in terms of their interest rates, and I can tell you now that if you know how to read this, this is the current rate. Watch my mouse. Yeah, 4.25 to 4.5. These are the next meetings. So 30th of July is the next meeting, and the expectation that they'll be still here at 4.25 to 4.5% is at 98%. So pretty much done. They're not changing their interest rates. If they were to change, that would be a major shock, and the dollar will, I think, plummet, quite frankly, and then you'll see gold fly higher. But anyway, that's very unlikely. But if you take it out to September meeting, 4.25, well, that's when they think the rates are going to start moving. There's a 65% chance that rates will start moving now at the next meeting in September. Quite frankly, I'm not a central banker. I don't know why they just don't do it now. But there you go. So, yeah, 35% chance they'll start cutting in September. And the October meeting, we've got 50% chance that they'll even be, well, 30% chance they'll have cut by another cut. End of the year, we've got there's an 18% chance that they'll cut another quarter. So there's basically a 20% chance that they'll have 3 cuts by the end of the year. That's what the futures market is pricing it, but more likely to be 2 cuts. Again, this changes, it will affect the price of the dollar. You can get this. It's the CME. You just go to CME Fed Watch. It's free. Again, we're not affiliated to CME whatsoever, but it's a very good site if you want to get your head around the economics that's driving these currencies. So that's at 7 p.m. on on Wednesday. Then we got quite an important one. It's the Bank of Japan. Japan unlikely to move interest rates, but the follow-on statement here I think is going to be quite important. There's a lot of uncertainty at the moment in Japan, with the potential new prime minister coming in and pressure on Ueda. So we are going to be watching that with attention. The forward on statement. What are the sort of the thoughts of the central bank? Their central, the Japanese yen has been extremely weak recently, and as has the US dollar. So we'll see if that continues to weaken up. Of course, there's one of these central banks that's going against all the other central banks. The pressure on them is to raise interest rates, whereas the rest of the developed world, they're cutting interest rates. So we'll see if that's happening. The markets are expecting sort of cuts. Markets are expecting no rises, which is in effect a cut, I guess, which is why one of the reasons why the yen is so weak, and also the uncertainty of why and also it's risk on. When markets are risk on, that becomes a funding currency. So we got core PCE coming out on Thursday as well. That is the main measure of inflation that comes out at 1:30. Expected to show a bit of an uptick in inflation from 0.3% from 0.2%. So we'll keep an eye on that. In the markets, that is very true. In the markets, anything can happen, and chances are it does happen. Earnings for Meta, yes, indeed, a big tech week this week, Lee. I get that. Yep, Microsoft, Meta, and the Mag 7, Apple, Amazon on Thursday. Yeah, it's a big week for that. Big week for the tech stocks. I haven't really got a slant on that personally, but yes, it is certainly going to be a busy week. Busy week all over, really, isn't it? Friday is a big day. Friday, the 1st of August, we are going to be streaming non-farm payroll. 1:30. We'll be streaming it live, as I say. We'll be giving away some assessment accounts as well, so make sure you tune in from that. I'm not quite sure what the giveaways are, but it's normally quite an exciting one. If you guess the NFP number, you can win one of these assessment accounts. We announce the prizes live on air on Friday, so make sure you come along for that. Subscribe to the channel, of course, if you don't already do so. That way you'll be notified the moment we go live, and of any other pending live streams as well. So NFP expects to come in at 108,000, down from 147. Do you notice the trend in this? The trend is down. The trend is down. It's been going down for pretty much all of this year, following the tariff announcements early on in the year, since Trump got in. So unemployment has basically risen slightly, risen from about 3.6, I think it is, up to now it is at 4.2. So unemployment rate's going down. This is one of the reasons why Donald Trump is desperately trying to get the Fed to cut their interest rates, because obviously cost of borrowing comes down, and obviously there's massive debts in the US, massive debts. They want to get the cost of borrowing down, but also they want to get unemployment down as well. Unemployment costs more money for the state, of course. Less people are paying tax, less tax revenue, and of course more unemployment benefits claims. So that's why he's trying to get Trump's trying to get the old get it all down. So average hourly earnings expected to creep up a little bit as well, in line maybe with the PCE. So we're going to see that on Friday. So make sure you are there. So there you are. Right. Hey. No City Traders prop was passed on to another prop firm who are managing all the accounts. So I'm here now as the ambassador head of trading at Funded Trading Plus. That will be awesome, says Pin the Market. Yeah, there you go. Right. Okay, let's have a look at what we are seeing in the markets. I've already discussed gold. I think gold's got the downward momentum. I'm a big So, I teach really two strategies mainly. Two strategies, basically, which, the three market conditions, markets can either be consolidating, they can be trending, or they can be reversing. So I have two strategies that I really teach, and they're basically for the trending markets and for the reversal markets. And we call them the boomerang strategies. Okay, so the boomerang strategy is basically when you look for a break of structure. Now, I spoke about this I think it was on Thursday when we did the CPE. This was basically a structure break that we spoke about. Okay, so this was basically the break of structure. How it works, very briefly put, we move into a level of what we consider to be roadblock resistance. Roadblocks meaning, these are sort of big levels. Best draw these on a daily chart, and best draw these, I think, certainly on a Sunday when the markets are closed. Maybe update them midweek as well. The reason why, because when you're looking for a reversal, you think, oh, is that a level? Is that going to reverse from here? You don't want any sort of unconscious bias. You want to have it basically, done when you're not, sort of emotionally involved in the markets and not trying to force yourself into a trade. That's why if you can remove the emotions as much as possible, it gives yourself a much better opportunity, I think, to trade with less emotions. It's impossible to trade with no emotions. It doesn't matter who you are. We all have emotions. That's what basically makes up a human being, is emotions and taxes, I guess. Something we all have to contend with. So do these, I say, on the weekend. We had a break of structure on, not a break of structure. We had a test of structure on Wednesday of last week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay, we've come in, we've pulled back, making higher highs and higher lows as we go. Let's pull back is a higher low, but it fails to make a new high. This level here at 3,420, if you're trading, our strategy is basically where you should be shorting. And this, I don't know if you'd have had this trade. I didn't have this trade on myself due to other commitments, but that is basically your trade there. You target the next level of resistance. You'd have got at least 2.3 to 1. Currently, you're sitting on, currently you'll be sitting on about 4 to 1 if you'd have been disciplined enough to hold that. I think my TP2 will be down here at 3312. I know I'm calling 3280 for my weekly pick, but that's the next level, I think. So this is the structure you're looking for, and indeed this is the pattern that we look for. You can trade this really on well, the daily levels are the important levels, but you can trade this for entries on the 4 hour or indeed on the 1 hour. 1 hour are less I have less confidence in the 1 hour than I do on the 4 hour. But when you see this on the 4 hour, this failed new high from this higher low, then that is your break of structure. By the way, is anyone interested in learning more about this strategy in detail and all the other education as well, we do have an education area which you can basically access now. So it's all up and running for anyone that is interested. Is the giveaway over? Giveaway, just while we're asking, because maybe other people are asking as well. It's competition that lasts a week. You've got to place your best guess for gold for the close on Friday, and the Gleam form is here in the chat, although I don't see it on my chat for some reason today because I think I'm using streaming software. But there's a form there, Gleam form, that you can get your entry in there. So get it in there. Whoops, daisy, just take that one off as well. Right, okay, so that is gold. Let's have a look at some of the other asset classes that I know you're all looking at. We'll look at dollar yen. I'm just going to clear off. Actually, before I clear it off, this dollar yen, remember the naked, the boomerang reversal? We had one back here. This whole move was depicted by a boomerang reversal back from beginning of July. When we got down to that level at 143, basically, we came back down, we pulled back. This low here failed to take out the previous low. That's your break of structure for reversal. That led to that big move. It's a very powerful strategy, which anyone can basically trade. You remember, trading is, look at that big level. This is what I would call the roadblock. Okay, the roadblock support. It gets back down here. We don't know, do we? We don't know if the institution money is sitting below here. We assume it is. We don't know that it is. And that's why we use this basic price action pattern type of thing to give us a clue that, yes, it is indeed there, that there is buying liquidity. I remember when I was when I was a city trader, if you've got big orders to buy, you don't put all the order in one go. You put it in partial amounts so as not to adversely affect the market against it. That's basically what institutional money is doing. If we got, I think I've said before, if we got being delivered 200 million pounds worth of government bonds. We'd need to sell some futures. We didn't sell it all at one go. We would drip feed it in, and that's basically what's happening here. Risk liquidity is down here. Big institutional money is down here, and the money that was basically taking us lower, failed to actually. Well, we had that first test of it, pull back. The sellers came in, failed to overpower the buyers, and off it went. So there. It is as well. Actually, there's another one up there, but there you are. So roadblock resistance now for the dollar yen, I would say, is up here. Now, what you'd want to do, it's only sort of 90 pips away. I don't know if it's going to hold. I put my alert in there. It's going to ping me. So I do this on a Sunday. It's going to ping me when you get up there. At the moment, I'm trading trend. I'm trading this higher. Okay, so this has been in a nice trend, so I'm only taking buy trades at the moment. The reason why I use the roadblock resistance in a trend is I never trade when my profit target has to be through. Okay, so the boomerang trend, I see a potential or entry here, but it didn't actually trigger. Okay, so we've got this high, pulls back to the previous high. It didn't actually pull back enough. Missed it by a few pips. Missed it by, only missed it by 10 pips. But that's basically your entry. Your stops are below the swing low, and your profit targets are going to be at the next level of resistance or a factor of your risk. But you want to make sure that your profit target is not through resistance, the roadblocks. You'd have it ahead of that. Placing this in, I get about 1.8 to 1. I'm happy with 1.8 to 1. I'm happy with 1 to 1s, depending on how strong the trend is. But if this was all up a little bit and my profit target had to be up there to get more than 1 to 1 or at least 1 to 1, I don't take the trade. This is roadblock. I'm not taking it when my profit target has to be above massive levels or below massive levels. I do the hardest trade in the book, and that's sitting on your hands. It is, in my experience, working with tens of thousands of students over the years, the hardest trade to do nothing, because everyone's feeling they've got to be, they've got to be in a trade, all the time. They've always got to be involved in the markets. Well, they don't. You take the high probability trades, and if you can cipher out, or if you can, avoid most probably 50, 60% of your trades that you're doing at the moment by only taking the high probability trades, you will be amazed at how your win-loss ratio increases. But as I say, it is the hardest trade in the book. Intro FF Gaming. I also use this strategy. Oh, great. How would you have known? Have you been following me for a while? Were you following me for a long time? Good to hear it. Good to hear. I'll talk later about how you can get involved in that if you want to do it. I mean, maybe I can. I can't do a survey on here, but I'll just ask. Maybe you can just drop in the chat a Y or no, a Y or an N. Are you currently doing a prop assessment or indeed funded? So the same. Are you doing a prop assessment or funded? Yes, if you are, and a no if you're not currently doing a prop assessment. A bit of a survey actually to see who's listening in and what where you are in your trading journey. I'll be interested to see what that outcome is. At some point, I'll have to get a survey sorted out on this software. I don't think they do at the moment, but we'll see. So let me know if you're trading a prop account at the moment. Because if you're not, I do have something quite exciting for you. Let's have a look here. Someone asked me to look at, before I go through my pick of what I wanted to talk about, someone asked me to look at something else. Wasn't it pound CAD? What's your analysis? Was from Naketo pound CAD. Okay, so when you asked me to look at that, first thing I'll always do, there's a couple of things I'll do. First thing I'll do is look at the big picture of all the currencies. Okay, because I haven't actually been trading pound CAD today, and I don't have it in my head, the pound CAD chart. I've got to think about it. I know CAD is strong, and I know that pound has also been quite strong with the dollar weakness over the last few months. But now pound is getting strong, CAD's getting strong. I mean, first thing I'll say is the purple line is the CAD, the white line is the pound, and they're almost moving together. They're almost moving in lockstep. And I would ask myself a question: why would I want to trade that? I know I'm going to come to the chart in a minute, and it might all look very, very obvious. But when I'm trading trend, remember, trading is all about having an edge. A slight edge is all you need. And when I say good, okay, so we've got Rivers doing trading, Jamie, Lee, Pin, great. Yeah, excellent. Okay, so we're all doing some assessments at the moment. Hopefully they're going well. Hopefully we're helping improve that for you. Trading is all about having an edge. Okay, if I'm trading the trend, doesn't it make sense to buy a strong currency and sell a weak currency, or reverse? Of course, if you're trading trends to the downside, selling a weak currency and buying a strong currency. Now, we don't know. I mean, the moment you pull that mouse and hit the button, we don't know if it's going to be a trend continuation or not, but we are assuming that there's a reason for that trend to be in play at that moment in time, and we assume that on the higher time frame charts those trends are much more established because you've got the higher volume going through them, more institutional money is in those big trends. So on a lower time frame chart, we want to get into the strong trends. Well, buying a strong currency and selling weak currency is just the basic start of any of my analysis. Is the currency fundamentally strong, or is the currency fundamentally weak? At the moment, the pound and the CAD, they've been tracking each other. Let's have a look at the actual currency itself. And this is exactly what I was expecting to see. Okay, so really from 2 weeks, Friday the 11th of July, what are we now, 28th? Yep, 2 weeks, this hasn't been doing anything. And that was there on the momentum meter that I've just shown you. It's not doing anything. So why would I want to trade that currency? As of all the currency pairs I can trade, yeah, unless I was a big UK manufacturing company that relied heavily on oil, why would I be wanting to get involved in pound CAD currency? And I've got to exchange my pounds for Canadian dollars to buy the Canadian oil. Why would I be involved in this? Why would I be involved in this as an independent day trader? It's just oscillating. It's difficult to pick this. It's ranging. What's my analysis? My analysis is, well, let's go to the daily first. Right, daily. My analysis is, oops, hit the wrong button there. This is my roadblock support. If I'm deciding to get into any sell trades, I'm not going to be selling too far into this. Tested it there big time. In fact, you can even take it out there. This test on the daily, when it broke through, that's been supported. That's been like the benchmark support all since really, the beginning of May. I'm not going to sell into here. I'm going to let other people tell me with their money if there's liquidity down here. I'm not going to use my money. So I'm going to use what others want to test it with. So that's my roadblock support. My roadblock resistance, really, I think we've got levels up here to think about. And the reason why I stalled there is because it's not been a massive level, but it's just this big momentum candle, having bounced off it. The technical traders were possibly looking at this level first from sort of 22nd of May, we broke through it, tested it with a momentum candle. What date was this? 1st of July. But this candle here, something was happening. So there's big money flowing through. Back up to retest it. So those are my real sort of zones, if you like. So I will be buying and selling. I will be trading within those. And at the moment, I can't see a trend. So to answer your question, what's my analysis? Those are my levels. I might look to buy at these levels. If I get a reversal pattern, I might look to sell at these levels. Certainly, certainly up there as well. But I'd wait for my decisions until we get up there. So these are my levels that I'll be looking at for a potential reversal. But I can't say it's a trend because it's not a trend. Yeah. Gospel, that does not count. If you're listening in to me, you need to put your entry on the Gleam form, which is posted here in the chat. Okay, otherwise they don't count. You've got another 10 minutes to place your entries, and then we're going to shut that down. Okay, so euro against the dollar. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, and that obviously is one I'm a bit more aware of because it's the most actively traded currency pair. So the euro at the moment is trading lower. There is a big unwind position. Today doesn't constitute a trend change. They are diverging at the moment, and that's the euro has basically been sold off across the board. Look at the momentum meter here; it's been sold off against everything, and the CAD's going higher, the pound's going higher, the dollar's going higher. The commodity currencies are the only weaker ones. The Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar are the only weaker ones. So let's just have a look at the actual chart to see what we got going on here. So euro dollar. So, as I say, it doesn't constitute a trend change. The trend for the euro dollar is up, dollar down. I can tell you now that this here, if we break here on the daily, I think that's this is your structure. This is your structure support at 116. Okay, that's 60 pips from here at the moment. Okay, so I don't sell into this level. I'll look to see how it reacts. If it breaks through, then we have got potentially a much bigger term correction in play. High highs, higher lows, higher low, which doesn't take out the previous high. It's up here, doesn't take this one. This is the structure which failed to make a higher high. Yeah, so it failed to basically, an uptrend is made of higher highs and higher lows, downtrend, lower lows and lower highs, as you know. If a lower low, if a higher low doesn't make a new high, that's a weak higher low. If it breaks, there's your reversal. So on the longer term, obviously you've got big stops on here. On the longer term, you've got the stops always above the failed higher high, and your profit target at the next support zone. So you're looking at maybe 2.5 to 1 if it breaks here. The way to play this for me would be to wait for this to break. It'll come back to retest, and then it'll trade lower. So my bias is let the market show its hand. The moment we are seeing dollar strength, it's only 1 day really. We haven't seen, well, it's 2 days really, isn't it? 2 days of and there's a lot to make up. There's a lot of positioning out there. There's a lot of institutional positioning in shorts, in dollar shorts. Okay, so there's a lot of ground to make up. And you can take that down to the 4 hour for your for precision entries. And if you were on the 4 hour chart, that's from Friday. there's a structural break here. See here, this high, breaking higher highs, higher highs, higher highs. Yeah. This high, this low did not break this previous high. There's your structure. So if you're trading on the 4-hour boomerang reversal, you are already short this. At that level, your stops would have been there and your targets are down there. So some of you should be short that already if you're trading the boomerang reversal. Tito, what's your thoughts on the Bulgarian diction 150-year-old Bulgarian lev for the euro? I'm from Bulgaria. 75% of the people are against it now, but were never asked or euro. Got no idea. Absolutely no idea. I know we didn't. I know the UK didn't go into the euro, and I think we're all pretty pleased about that here. I know Greece went into the euro, and the rest of you got absolutely caned. Yeah, I don't know. What I do know is one of my good mates is on his way to Bulgaria as we speak. Took off at 1 o'clock for a 2-week holiday with his Bulgarian wife. But I have no idea about the Bulgarian. I've got no idea about how it was. When I was in Bulgaria a few years ago before COVID. Lovely country, but a lot of wasted construction going on there. A lot of construction that they just ran out of money, didn't they? It looked like a war zone from the airport to where we were staying, Sunny Beach or something. But hopefully it's getting better. So euro dollar. Someone asked me to look at something else. Yeah, that's the euro dollar. Anything else you want me to look at? Dollar yen we've looked at. River wants me to look at the US 30. I know a lot of traders that only trade the NASDAQ, the US 30 and the DAX, and quite successful. So we're now seeing this gap. The US 30 is a boomerang trend now. This is an entry. There's your swing low. There's your stop. Doesn't feel comfortable sometimes buying pullbacks, but it's just basically filled the gap as well. The Friday gap, which was a high from Wednesday, high from Friday, gapped higher Monday or when we started trading, back down to it. There's your gap fill. What's got us up here? What are the fundamentals that's got us up here? What's changed in the fundamentals that's seen the money flowing into the assets? Nothing, bit of profit taking. But my bias would be to be buying that here for trend continuation higher. And no roadblock resistance because it's never been higher. Never been higher. So that would be my analysis. Right, you've got about a minute to go. Get your bets in or your suggestions in for the gold. I'll announce it next. I'll announce the winner next Monday on the live stream. Of course, we are doing the NFP on Friday, so we'll have a bit of a maybe you can have a chat about it on there, see where we're looking. But the announcement will be next Friday. I said earlier, if you're interested in having a look at all our fantastic education, let's see if I can find it here. Well, our fantastic education, you're perfectly entitled to come and have it for free. Here we go. Look, this is our masterclass. Okay, it's basically a whole bunch of educational. Doesn't matter where you are on your trading journey. If you're a beginner, different sort of basics, intermediaries, the mindset, risk on, risk off, knowing your strategy, correlation, very, 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 very important lesson I've done there on market correlation and so forth. Okay, we've also got some technical analysis in there. You've got psychology. Also, for those of you, Simon, our CEO, did this psychology course a couple of years ago. Fantastic course. it's made of about 7 lessons, almost 10 hours of content just there. I also talk about these strategies that I've just been speaking about. Okay, so you can learn more about them, seeing the screen walkthrough. If you sign up for this, you also get invited into, you know what Discord's like, right? You open up something on Discord and you get all the spammers and people, you know, trying to sell you signals in there. I've just seen it myself over the last 2 or 3 years. So much spam stuff goes into Discord. But if you take this education course and so forth, which is, as I say, free, if you take an assessment account, you get a personal invite from me into our private Discord channel. No one's in there that hasn't been manually spoken to by me as well. Okay, so you get a chance to come and interact with us, discussing any of these setups as well. If anyone, of course, is interested in that. We've also got lots of resources. I've got journals in there, a great spreadsheet journal. Got a sort of a false breakout strategy, the boomerang cheat sheets, and so forth. Also, there's a business plan template which hasn't been loaded up yet. I'll have to get that loaded up, but there you have it. And these videos are all pretty professionally done as well. So if you're interested in them, all done on. I'll just show you here. Look, all done on a. There we go. Right, so there you have it. If you're interested in that, and it coincides actually with a really good thing that we've got going on here at FTP for the, I think they call it Summer Splash, 20% off the 20% off the advanced 20% off the advanced program, and that basically coincides. So if you take an assessment account of 50K or above, and use the coupon code, and I'll just chuck it up here on the screen for you. Use that coupon code, okay, on the on any of the assessments, but the 20% off is 20% off is basically there, I think, until the end of this week. 20% off the standard price. So there's no other. You don't have to take the Prop IQ code. You can always get the 20% discount, of course. But if you want to get all that education stuff, invited into the Discord channel as well. And for the sake of this little stream, you and I can also jump on a one-on-one call. Lee James, if you're a Prop IQ member, or if you use the Prop IQ, let me know. Send me an email, Andrew and you can come in. So Lee, you send me an email, Andrew Funded Trading Plus, and I'll get you in. But obviously, that's for the Prop IQ members. We're not doing it for people that are. I know you're not. I spoke before, but that's basically where we are. So there you are. I know a lot of you have got your accounts going as well at the moment, but we're offering this education for free if you take the Prop IQ coupon code. I get to see exactly who has taken the code, and then I'll interact with you personally, and we'll get you in and also jump on a one-on-one call as well. So you have a one-on-one call with me. Basically, we'll jump on for about an hour and we just discuss your trading plan and the like. So and set you on the right path to trading. Right. Anything else you want me to look at? I think we're almost done here. Stocks are looking good, strong. Bit of a pullback going on. NASDAQ 100. Again, is that going to fill the gap? You got those stock announcements obviously this week with all the fangs or whatever they're called, coming back into potential boomerang buy for the trend on the NAS. Dollar yen we have discussed already. Euro CAD, that's another one there. The big move in the Euro CAD. Just very briefly. So the euro against the dollar is obviously a big move. The dollar is moving. Dollar is moving big time. Dollar moving big time means a lot of other currency pairs react. So the euro CAD and the dollar, euro dollar, clearly are heavily correlated. I've seen lots of traders get caught out by this over correlation. Over correlation basically being into a number of trades at the same time, not realizing that they are correlated. Currency pairs that might not even have the euro on some sides. You might have the what about the Aussie CAD, for example? Let's have a look at the Aussie CAD. Is it down here somewhere? Aussie CAD. I'd have to pick one that's not on my screen for some reason. Where's the Aussie CAD? Have I deleted it? There it is. So this Aussie CAD, if you're selling the Aussie CAD, this Aussie CAD is moving lower because the US dollar is surging higher. If you have a trade set up and you see something in the Aussie CAD and you see something in the euro dollar, chances are if you're following the same strategy, you're doubling up on your risk. You need to be aware of correlation. I discussed that in the education. So this is moving lower on the back of the dollar moving higher. Would you have known that? You should always be aware of your correlation. All right, folks, I'll leave that there for now. How do I get into Pop IQ? How do you get into Pop IQ? Well, you go to, see if I can do this here now. Right. Okay, so go over to our site. Okay, so look, the experience program is 20% off. You see these prices here for the 50K account and above is what you're looking for. You go to the programs. Oops, Daisy, just take that off. 20% off. So you go to the programs, experience, which is one phase. 50K account. Choose your broker platform. So you start now. There's the price. Choose your broker platform. You can trade MT5 if you wish. And add to cart. And here you'll enter Prop IQ. So enter your Prop IQ coupon code there. We'll get notified. I'll get notified. You get an email straight away, basically giving you access to all the education and a little link so you can book your one-on-one call with me. Of course, I'm getting quite booked up on this since I've announced this offer a couple of days ago. So the one-on-ones, I'm booked up this week. I think one-on-ones, but there's a few available slots for next week on the one-on-ones. But you'll be sent a calendar link and you can basically book your link with me if you wanted to do that. So there, just drop in Prop IQ into there and you can get all those bells and whistles, all that education as well. Hopefully you're serious about your trading. You want to take it to the next level? Well, there is an opportunity for you. Right, folks, thanks for that. Hopefully you have a good week, busy week. Beware of the news announcements. If you haven't done your roadblock support and resistances already on this Monday, then maybe do them now. Get them set out. Looking for the reversals, looking for the trends. Don't trade through them. You don't trade through these big roadblocks, even on your current strategy that you're using. If it's trend, not trading through these roadblocks, it will massively help, I think, your win to loss ratio by not trading. That's what it's all about, increasing the edge. Yeah, okay. And you've also got there, if you don't want the, you can see there on the chat, there's 20% off the most popular program, the experience program, no coupon needed, just straightforward savings from the most trusted trot firm. But if you use the coupon code that I've just given you at the bottom, you get all the education as well. And why would you not? Right, folks, I appreciate your company. And we'll see you on Friday for the live non-farm payroll, giving away some live, some prop assessment accounts, which is always a good fun. So I'll see you then. Keep an eye on the news events for the week. Have a good one. Speak to you soon.